You don't need to justify it. Like,
Face
I'm fine.
front, true believers. Welcome to issue 132 of the Pitch Nerds, a weekly show where we assemble to bring you the latest in nerdy news, reviews, and occasionally pitch stuff. I am Cap, and with me today is always sexy motherfucker, best friend of the world, Mr. Frosty, sexy motherfucker.
What's up, everybody?
Sorry, sexy motherfucker. Um, My goodness, I am exhausted. Frosty looks like a sexy motherfucker. What are we talking about today? My goodness, I didn't get a chance to see it, but there's my Adventures with Superman, Furiosa,
First tip.
uh, Furiosa dropped. I've talked to a couple people who've seen it. Um, we can get into detail as to whether or not it's woke or not. Ha ha ha. On that
I'm leaving the internet. Like, that's it. That was the straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, no, come back. We have season 2 of X-Men 97 to look forward to. I wonder if they'll call it X-Men 98.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if a whole year's gone by in terms of the show, you know?
Yeah. But anyways, but I would love to discuss what our next pitches are going to be. Because we have the pitch nerds, we do pitch things.
Yeah, if you missed it, we just did our alien pitches. I'm just doing a couple of things.
Your audio.
We don't actually have a producer, so we have me sometimes messing with our YouTube account, so you guys can watch it. The few of you that do, which we really appreciate. Come on. It's just being a little bit annoying this morning.
My router was being a dick yesterday. Like, I just want to sit in quiet with my coffee in the morning and curl up with my junky laptop and write and listen to music in quiet, and the internet just refused to work. It was terrible. Like, the morning's like my zen.
Okay.
You sound...
It's posted up on Twitter or X or whatever the fuck you want to call it. It will do a quick sound check.
Call it E-Space. Elon Space.
Nobody's calling it X. I mean, to my knowledge.
Yeah. So R2 is very chirpy today.
Yeah, I am a little loud. It's so I cannot figure out our fucking volume issues on my end. Because if I record my own stuff, I sound great. But for some reason, as soon as like we try and run it through the software, I was talking to my friend who's like a more tech guy, and he was like, "Yeah, it's because you're the hosting computer. If we were in the same room using the same computer, we'd sound fine."
Right. I mean, it'd probably be the same issue if you were to host it and I were to come in with my...
You would be the other way around.
It'd be the other way around, right.
But let us know if it's a problem. I just listened to myself. Maybe I'll listen to myself one more time. I sounded okay. It's just a little scratchy for some reason.
I listen to you all the time. Voice like raspy
better than usual, actually. Normally the problem is I'm too quiet, so at least I'm not too quiet. And then other times my mic's been blown out, but hopefully that's the right distance.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see, what do we got going on today? We got nerdy news. I'll give a brief spoiler spoiler-free review of My Adventures with Superman, episodes 1 and 2. Then we've got Battle Nerds this week. Rogue, our champion, with 6 wins under our belt, takes on... He's only got 1 win, but Ron Swanson from...
I thought he had 2 wins.
He does have 2 wins, you're correct, yeah. So if he manages to unseat her, then that'll put Spock in first place.
Spock hasn't been up in a while, has he?
No, but I mean it's gonna happen more and more.
Yeah. Who's the last person he went up against? I don't know who he went up against last.
He took on Hulk. I remember that one. He took on... It's because Laura Loaded, and he sometimes jumps in on the Spock ones.
Right.
And then all his fans are Star Trek nerds. And so it's
the best part about
Tyler from Imaginary God, Imaginary Access. He's a YouTuber. He hasn't been doing too many videos lately, but he sometimes comments on stuff. And then, like, he was like, I think it was Goku versus Squirrel Girl. As soon as he weighed in, Squirrel Girl was just like, it was like the biggest margin ever because he was like Squirrel Girl, and then like all his fans were like, yeah,
yes. Of course.
A lot of them were like, why are you even debating this? I'm like, I know you don't know us, but watch the show. Like,
who would win that fight? Would it even be a fight? I still give it to Squirrel Girl.
I mean, we came up with our arguments.
Yeah.
I don't know. It could go either way. I think I came up with a pretty good argument for Goku. But yeah, and then what else? That's pretty much it. We'll try and get on My Adventures with Superman next week. So that'll be
3 episodes.
3 episodes. It drops, I think, on Saturday nights. Is that enough time for you, Cap?
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
Okay. But the first 2 episodes are out. And then, yeah, we could talk pitches, and we got Battle Nerds, and then we can pick a Behold Nerds for next week. So I guess we can jump in on the news. So Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos argues that Barbie and Oppenheimer would have been just as big on Netflix. Direct quote, there's no reason to believe that the movie itself is better in any size of screen for all people. My son's an editor. He watched Lawrence of Arabia on his phone. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree. We're at a point where like cinemas are dying.
Yeah.
And people are watching it. I don't know about watching it on your phone. I guess if you
have like a trip or something, if you're stuck in a car, you can focus on those things.
Even then, I would use like my Chromebook or something.
I was gonna say, don't Nintendo Switches exist for a reason? Like, I don't know. But good. I wouldn't watch Lawrence Arabia on my phone.
I don't know if it would have been as big because the Barbie Oppenheimer one, though, that was very specific. Those are the
especially kind of Oppenheimer was meant for, because it's a Nolan film. You want to see those on a big screen.
It's not so much that. I just think that that was like a cultural moment where people were like, "Hey, let's go see these movies."
Right.
And I think those are the movies that are going to survive. I think I predict theaters going forward. We're gonna get like little local theaters that show like movies sometimes. That they're not going to make a ton of money, but people go just as a date kind of thing. And those will be dotted out, and maybe they don't even show like really expensive movies. Maybe they show older movies.
Right.
Because those ones they always survive. You know what I mean? They're dotted around.
Right.
But I think the big movie theaters, I think those are going to go.
Theaters.
Yeah, I think all that'll be left are going to be like the luxury or the experience ones.
Yeah.
And then the movies that'll do well there are going to be these big experiences. The Oppenheimer Barbie things, the ones that everybody's like, we got to go see this.
Right.
And I think those are the ones that'll survive. I think everything else, as we'll talk about in a minute, is kind of going the way of the dingo.
Right.
How many movie theaters near you have closed?
So, none have closed per se, but you can definitely tell they're struggling. So they're trying to do, like you mentioned earlier, they're playing older movies, which is cool because once a month they'll pick a theme. The one down the street, Mrs. Cap and I went to go see Beetlejuice.
The luxury one. Yeah, I'm not talking about luxury though. I'm talking about just old school regular shows, a blockbuster movie theater.
Oh, I mean, there's where I work, and
okay.
I mean, I think COVID sort of changed the landscape.
Well, it affected it, but I mean, I think also people have home theater systems and stuff like that. Like all the movie theaters near me are closed.
Are they?
If I want to go see a movie, I have to go all the way to like by the airport where there's a luxury theater. But yeah, like all of the other ones, they're no longer.
All the theaters by me are still open, but again,
you're in a very, very busy area.
I'm in a very suburban area, so
but I mean, the only two I even went to when I lived where you lived was the one near your work,
yeah,
and then one
at the luxury one, right?
I can't even think of another theater near you, to be honest. I'm sure there are.
There's a couple. It just,
I mean, the ones in the malls all got closed down. I know that.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I do think that they're dying off, but I do think the one at your work though, that I mean, I'm not gonna say where you work, but like where you go when you go to where that one is,
Yeah.
it's like oftentimes it'd be like, I meet someone like a girl or whatever, be like, hey, let's go on a date to that place.
Yeah, yeah.
And the movie was part of it because it's all in the same area.
Yeah. It's a mall. It's an outdoor mall.
I mean, sort of. It's outdoors, but yeah.
Outdoor mall.
But anyway, but along that same line, Furiosa, which is out now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Memorial Day weekend this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's estimated to open at 31 million domestically.
Oof.
That's horrible.
That's terrible.
And that would be one of the worst Memorial Day weekends in nearly 3 decades.
God.
This, despite the fact that the film appears to be crushing it, the lowest, average rating I can find, is about a B+, and the highest is the high 90s. I mean, it's fresh on Rotten Tomatoes.
So I've spoken to somebody who's seen it. They said it's badass. It's a prequel to the first one, and they said that it ties things into Fury Road, so you can watch the two of them. They'll sort of bleed into each other, and things that were set up in Fury Road are sort of paid off in the prequel. So it's kind of cool that, from hearing from people that they've done something like that. So that's cool. Yeah. Just we'll see if we go see it. Maybe down at the luxury theater. It'd be fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it, but I mean, this is exactly what we were just talking about.
You have to drive a long way to. It's inconvenient to see it.
I mean, it's the people I live with. They like Fury Road, so I might get to go see this one. But this is what I'm talking about. Like this movie's doing, like it's a well-crafted, action-packed blockbuster film, exactly what's designed for theaters.
But nobody's going to go. But nobody's going to go watch it. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. It's like when people are like, "Oh, Marvel, it's failing. No, DC, it's failing." They're all failing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's, and then people go, "Well, what about Top Gun? What about No Way Home?
Those are spectacles. Those are events."
Yeah, they're the exception. Right. The fact that like one film is doing it and all the others.
So that's sort of. I mean, that's sort of what Disney used to be, right? Where every movie that came out was a masterpiece and it brought everybody to the theaters. And now everything is sort of... I think people are afraid of mediocrity. So maybe once word of mouth goes out... See, a movie like this, word of mouth goes out and people hear it's good, and it'll have legs. And maybe it'll do like what Ninja Turtles did and sort of spike a little bit. Maybe. After a few weeks.
I just think people are going to go, why bother? I could watch something on my home system, and I don't have to go put up with a theater. And so I think that's why. And because these dead theaters, like, they're just not getting the viewership that they used to get. And I mean, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, it's like people used to go to drive-ins.
Yeah.
I mean,
drive-ins
still exist.
They still exist. Oh, there's a drive-in. Mrs. Cap and I went. We haven't been in a while, but because it's hard to find them to play good movies together because the drive-ins will play 2 movies, and it's hard to find like a good pairing of movies. Usually they'll. But anyways,
they exist, but they're uncommon.
Yeah, they're sparse. I mean?
Yeah, so I think that's the way of the movie. But we'll see. I mean, Furiosa I think is perfect, and I think like because I keep looking back at some of these films that just bombed, and I'm like, these are not bad films. You know what I mean? Like,
but are they worth spending the money? Because going to the movies is really expensive now.
It is, but it's always been expensive.
Right, but it's more expensive.
The thing that have you ever heard of? Oh God, what's it called? Not nostalgia bias, but same concept. Basically, when we think of the past, we remember the good stuff, and our brains ignore the stuff that wasn't good.
Yeah.
Because it's like people, you have a conversation, and everyone's like, "Oh, movies, they're all mid now,"
Right.
and it's like, they're always mid, right? Like, statistically speaking, the majority of movies are going to be in the middle of the pack.
Right.
And the thing is, but when we remember, like, oh yeah, they used to back in the day, they had. You're forgetting all those movies that were like mid. You're only remembering the good ones.
Right.
So yeah, there's a term for it, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I hope they figure it out, and I hope they turn it around. But I do think it's just like you said, it's going to become more and more spectacle as we go forward.
Yeah, I mean, it almost has to be at this point because people want their bang for the buck, and if you factor how much it is now. The last time I went to the theaters, it was like $50 for popcorn and soda. It's ridiculous. It's a lot of money. The last movie we saw in theaters was Dune Part 2, and God, it's like $100 thing. Period. Just right there, just on popcorn, a couple sodas, and maybe like a snacky poo. Factor in the tickets, it's like $100 plus outing. Plus, they have beer now, which is great. But that's that's like a $20 beer.
A year one is way too expensive. I remember sitting there with my friend, and I ordered a drink, and she brings it to me, and I go, "Oh, that was $20 well spent." It was like the tiniest. Like, it's because it was one of those cocktails, where they got out the little eyedroppers. And
Yeah.
And then it's like a little bit of liquid, just like in a thing of ice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did it taste good? If it wasn't your thing, it wasn't. I know you're. I'll take it.
I mean, no, it was fine. I ordered like a fruity kind of like, I think it was like the Hit Girl or something at the time.
Okay.
That theater, they name it after everybody, after the films. Anyway, this is interesting. Some TV where I think is actually doing well. The writer's room for The Boys season 5 has begins in about a month.
Okay.
So I mean, we're getting season 4 soon. We've seen the trailers for it. It looks awesome. But I mean, they're confident enough that they're already working on season 5. So
yeah,
sounds awesome to me. I mean, I can't wait. I love The Boys.
I can't wait. Really, it's coming out in like a month or two, isn't it?
Boys season 4 release date. June 13th. Yeah.
Oh, it's soon. It's a couple weeks.
Yeah, and then the finale is going to be July 18th.
Okay. So
you know what's cool is Krapopolis just ended. Not that that's cool, but one thing because I kept thinking the show has to be over, right? Because if you notice, like, animated series, they only go for like 10 episodes now,
Yeah, they're not like a full 20 episodes a season.
Yeah, we get like 20, 25, like per season. But Krapopolis, it actually went to like 20 something episodes. So yeah, and it's a good show. I mean, if you like Dan Harmon's stuff, then yeah, you should check it out. It's Dan Harmon. It's got that one guy who was in the IT Crowd. He was also in that it didn't do well, but I'm sorry, I will not apologize. Did you ever see that movie? The Neighborhood Watch, I think it was called.
Yeah, is that the one where
I think I know in it, and like they have aliens. What's his name? The guy who played Zoolander, I forget his name. Ben Stiller. He's in it. But aliens show up, and he starts a Neighborhood Watch.
Okay.
And then they start realizing it's aliens, and it's just the funniest like movie. Like he's talking about, he's like, yeah, he's like, I'm starting a Neighborhood Watch, and he's talking about how he lives in the best town ever, and he was like, and I really was hoping to get a black friend soon, and then like he starts the Neighborhood Watch, and the guy from the IT Crowd like shows up. I wish I could remember his name. I love it. He's such a funny guy, and he opens the door. And of course, he's black, and he's like, "You're exactly the kind of person I've been looking for." And he's like, "Oh, really? That's awesome." And most people don't say that when they see me.
That's awesome.
It's so funny, and they're like doing a stakeout in their little neighborhood watch thing, and one guy has to pee, and they're drinking beer, and he's like, don't worry, just hand me one of the beer cans. He's like, I'll put it right on the. He's describing it, and then he's like, don't worry, I'm not missing a drop. And then the guy from IT cries, he's like, yeah, I'm watching right now, it's amazing. And it's a really funny movie. Like, yeah.
I think I've seen this, but once a long time ago with like.
In order to kill the aliens, you have to destroy their dicks or whatever. Like, that's their weak spot.
It sounds vaguely familiar.
The guy, like, his name was Moss in IT Crowd, but like his whole goal in life is to be in an orgy or something like that. Like, it's so funny.
Keep reaching for that rainbow friend.
It happens in the movie.
Nice. Make sure when you ask for an orgy, just be specific. Don't just have.
He's talking at the end of the movie. He's like, I mean, I've been to an orgy with you, man. You just don't forget those things. Like, right. And then Ben Stiller's wife's like, honey? And he's like, I'll tell you later.
God, this movie's such a
anyway. Yeah, I forget, that movie did terrible in theaters, and I went, and there was like me and one other dude there, and we were just dying through the whole thing because it's so funny. Same with Joe's apartment. You hated Joe's apartment, though.
It was all right.
I love Joe's.
It's unoffensively bad.
I don't even find it bad. It's
charming bad.
I don't really like that actor though. Like, not like not his work. He's fine in movies and stuff, but I've seen him in interviews, and I'm just like, this is not someone I would hang out with. Maybe, I don't know. I don't actually know him personally. Maybe he's just a bad interviewer. This is sad news. Moreland Spurlock has passed away. 53.
What's he been in?
He was the guy who did Super Size Me. Does all those?
The documentarian guy. Yeah. Because all those Big Macs caught up to him.
Nah, it was cancer. Complications of cancer. The one thing though, I mean, not to tarnish a deceased person, they've never been able to recreate the results of Super Size Me.
Really?
Yeah, like because he clearly lied to make it more sensational. Because like doctors and stuff, they're like, based on the calories of what you're describing, none of that adds up. You wouldn't have had these health problems that fast.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's too much data that didn't work. And like, you can even look like, they're like, okay, if you order, I think he was saying he was eating X amount of calories every day. Right. But like, they were like, but that would mean he'd have to order this, and this, and he's not ordering that much and stuff like that. So, yeah, I mean,
but still, eating McDonald's for a straight month is going to destroy your gastrointestinal tract. I mean, yeah,
but I don't know. They're saying that if you're a healthy adult, like most of the scientists, it's not gonna it's like you ate bad food for a month, okay? You know, you know what I mean.
But your gastrointestinal tract is going to be miserable during that month.
But you're not going to put on like he got really fat and then he was like, "Oh, I'm having a heart." I don't know exactly. He was saying he's had all these problems,
right?
And they're like, "It's just not possible." But I mean, I do think it isn't healthy food, sure.
So you're saying one of our fans should take it upon themselves to eat nothing but McDonald's for a month and report back with their findings?
I mean, sure. If you're a healthy adult, do it. I mean,
so to all of you healthy adults tuning into the Pitch Nerds, have at it. Look forward to reading your papers.
I did eat a bunch of ribs the other night. I think that's why I was not well for like 3 days.
Oh, I ate a bunch of ribs too. What kind of ribs?
No, I just went to Applebee's and grabbed their baby back ribs or whatever they are.
Oh, I make Korean sticky ribs, and my youngling. She foregoed her sticky ribs, and I said, "Are you sure? Because you're saying, Daddy, these are yours now, because I'm going to eat them." So she's like, "Yeah, sure." And oh my God, I ate myself into a disgusting food coma. No shame.
I didn't eat that much. I don't know. Something's wrong. Lately, I've got too many kidneys now. I've got 2 old ones that don't work that are giant, and I got a new one strapped to the front. So I'm like, I'm full and I'm gonna die now. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. I have not been well the last few days. It sucked. I've been basically sleeping for. I barely got up. I was scrambling to type this up as like the minutes were ticking by, and my cat's like, "Pay attention to me." I'm like, "I can't. The show must go on."
For a second, I thought your comforter was Optimus Prime, but I forgot it's Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I'm like, when did you have Optimus Prime on your bed? Oh, that's Spider-Man.
Yeah. Well, he keeps watch over me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Marvel Comics. We're getting a 4-issue crossover this August. It's from the writer Benjamin Percy and artist Chris Allen. They did Predator versus Wolverine.
Ooh.
We are now getting Predator versus Black Panther. And it's the right Black Panther. Time is T'Challa.
Okay. Ooh.
I mean, look. The Predator needs to bring his A game.
Right, I'm going to say.
The Marvel Universe.
Like, come with the big guns that y'all allude to having. Like, you're going after some bigger game. Like, bring out the cool toys.
Well, the plasma caster, the shoulder guns, those can they can punch through. They can turn them up. So at a setting, they can punch through like starships and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So they are pretty powerful. Then they also do have bigger and better weapons. I mean, but it is kind of like, okay, Xenomorphs, huh? Right. Yeah, that's impressive.
Right. What do you think the Xenomorph acid would be able to go through Cap Shield or Vibranium?
Oh.
Yeah.
No, because Cap Shield, like, in order to break it, you have to like
rip apart the atoms.
You have to do it at the atomic level, yeah, and then or just be stupid, like I'm God, and then, or vibranium. No, I mean, like maybe it could like damage his suit a little, but like no. I mean, as far as Predator,
his hoses right off.
I mean, the thing is, though, it is comics. It is like when we're talking battle nerds, it's narrative driven. So, I mean, and Wolverine versus Predator. I haven't read. I've heard good things. In my brain, though, I immediately just go Wolverine.
Right. Next page.
Because, like, yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, you shoot him, and he's like splattered, and then he just like starts coming at you around Bob, you know?
Right.
Did I read something not that long ago? Wolverine stopped smoking cigars or something? I don't know.
Maybe.
No, I think that's silly.
Yeah.
I mean, I get that, like, I mean, role models and all that, but it's Wolverine. He's not exactly a role model. And B, he can smoke because he has cellular regeneration. So let him smoke.
Right. Motherfucker's been around for a while. Let him chill.
Yeah.
He has so little in life.
Well, I don't know.
It's one of the few things that brings him happiness.
He does pretty well. It all depends. Like, that's the one thing I like. You know, it's like, oh, Wolverine, I'm so tragic. It's like, bro, you're this awesome fighter with claws, and you're immune to everything, and like, you have like so many hot girlfriends, like just so many.
Right.
And you're just this like short barrel-chested hairy dude. I mean, I'm a short barrel-chested hairy dude, but I don't get cool claws and stuff.
I mean, you have your own superpowers for a while. You're almost like a Darth Vader type. Yes.
Was I? Oh, when I had the breathing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have been part cyborg for a few times in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, this is cool. I've seen notes about it. I haven't brought it up before because, but I'm interested to know where you land on this. Vision is getting his own show.
Is that back on?
What?
That's back on. I know they had mentioned it, but I wasn't sure if that was scrapped.
Yeah, no, it was never off. It's gonna come out in 2026. Paul Bettany is gonna return.
Cool.
It's gonna be White Vision. I mean, thoughts?
Yeah.
Thing is, I like White Vision more than I like non-White Vision. That sounds really weird.
Yeah. So the White Vision is the actual Vision, right?
They're both Vision.
Well, I know they're both Vision, but that's the one that the government like fucked. It's like the alternate one, right? Is that
that's so? Well, you remember in yeah, they
I'm trying to remember.
In the MCU, that was they took his, he was dead and then they made him back.
Okay.
And he fought regular Vision and then and so it's Vision, but like undead robot Vision.
Yeah,
I mean he's already a robot, but
he's RoboCop Vision.
They made I mean, but he was already it's hard to explain, but yeah, he's basically an undead robot.
Yeah.
And he's white, and like I know the thing is like, again, I think a lot of it is when you came into comics. When I was into comics, like as a little Frost, White Vision was Vision, you know,
right?
And so that was just, and then
just like your Hulk was Professor Hulk, so that was your
but then I see like a green guy with a pink face, and I was like, what? Who painted Vision? And then I find out like later as I'm older, I'm like, oh, that was the original one. The one I've been watching is a weird one. And so, but yeah, because my first experience with him was going to the arcade, and there was, do you remember back in like the 80s, maybe it was 90s, there was like a side-scrolling beat 'em up with Avengers.
Yeah.
One of the playable characters was White Vision, and I chose him, and I didn't even know anything about him. I just liked him. I thought he was cool looking.
Okay.
And his power was like, pew. And then, I had a comic book. First comic book I had of him, it was a Hulk and Juggernaut versus the Avengers.
Oh.
And Juggernaut
Hulk and Juggernaut versus the Avengers.
Yeah, like, Hulk was like crazy, like, and yeah, so like they were fighting them, and yeah, they were getting their ass. It was like Black Knight and Hercules and Vision. It was like a B version of the Avengers that you really.
Oof.
But yeah, so Hulk eventually like unleashes some kind of like psychic thing and KOs everybody, and the only one still standing was Vision, and he was helping the Hulk up.
No,
and stuff like that. So yeah,
because
he was a robot.
And then they became friends to go take out the, I don't know, Taskmaster, some nonsense.
Oh, I don't know. So I mean, you know, this is back before I like collected comics where I could like follow it. It was just when I could get them. So I had one issue of a story. You know what I mean? So I never knew what happened before or after. It was just in this comic they're fighting the Avengers. Cool.
Neat.
Yeah. Anyway. But yeah, I'm excited for that. 2026 is a long, far away time though. But it also is going to have the guy. Terry Matalas, I guess he did Star Trek Picard. He's going to serve as the showrunner.
Okay.
I saw an episode of Picard. It was good. I mean, it's not enough of a Star Trek nerd to watch more than 1 or 2 episodes. You know.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet. I don't care enough. I don't know. I don't think I have Paramount. Actually, no, I do have Paramount. I don't know. Maybe I'll check it out. I don't know.
It's okay. I mean, it's not a bad show. There's a lot of Is
there fan servicey?
No, it's just there's they call it Legacy Trek and Current Trek. And Legacy Trek is all the stuff that like Abrams. Probably you know. No, not Abrams.
Is that the Abrams stuff or?
No, Legacy like.
Oh no. Okay, so the next
generation,
okay. Like
original,
Deep Space Nine and all that.
Voyager, Deep Space Nine. And then you have, I don't even know where Abrams comes in because that's a whole other thing.
Yeah.
But then you have new, like the new Trek, which is like things like Picard, Discovery, even that cartoon, Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's all considered.
Because I heard Lower Decks was okay.
I watched an episode. I would watch more. At the time, I didn't have Paramount. Paramount doesn't really work very well on the PlayStation 5. I complained about it on Twitter, and then Super Killers got back to me and he was like, "Yeah," because I was like, "Hey Paramount, why does your fucking app suck so much on PlayStation?" And he's like, "It sucks on my Fire Stick too." And then Paramount just sent like their like we're sorry you're having trouble.
Spurs
Here's the
squash team.
troubleshooter, you know? And I'm just like, the thing is, if all of my other apps work just by me hitting a single button and then it downloads and now I can watch it, once I've logged in,
Right.
your app is instantly worse because I'm like, oh, I'll watch Paramount and waiting.
Right.
And then some shows, like you guys made jokes about it, like the Ark show. That is like the buggiest show ever. Like,
just like the source material. Yes.
see, you say that, but I had my own server, so I never had a problem with it. Like I did when I used to, but when I played it like for real, I just got my own server and it was great.
Yeah.
Same with Conan. I played that with my own server. That was a lot of fun. We also turned up the breeding speed because holy shit, like you need to have like round the clock people. It's too much. Like who can play video games like that?
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Marvel Studios is officially moving forward with their X-Men movie. Michael Leslie, apparently he did a Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Okay.
He's in talks to write the script. I haven't seen the Ballad of Songs and Snakes. I guess I can look this guy up. But what do you think? Are you excited?
I mean, I don't really follow the Hunger Games that much. Sure, I guess.
Oh, is that from the Hunger Games?
Yeah, that's a Hunger Games thing.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I think that's a Hunger Games thing.
Okay, I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
he's a British playwright and screenwriter. I don't think so. Oh, it is a Hunger Games. You're right.
Yeah.
He also did Assassin's Creed. They made an Assassin's Creed movie and Macbeth. I don't know.
I remember the Assassin's Creed movie.
Was it good?
No, because I just know I forgot it long enough to be like, hey. A vague mentioning was like, oh, I vaguely remember that. Don't ask me to like recite it.
None of his stuff is that good. Like I'm just looking at the ratings. Well, that's a little disappointing. I was really excited that they're gonna do it. I guess he's only in talks.
Yeah.
So hopefully their talk goes as long as
Marvel
as the one we just had. Like
Disney has given us X-Men '97, which is probably one of the best things that they put out collectively. Phenomenal piece of work. Just treat a live action X-Men movie the same way you treated X-Men '97. You'll do great.
Oh, okay, but
you'll do great.
That brings up a question because I think X-Men '97 works because it works with the source material. You know what I mean. You have a little bit more freedom with animation.
Yeah.
But what it does bring up a question. So what would you do? Okay, Disney's like. You're a producer.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting in the meeting. They were like, hey, we're thinking about this guy, the Ballad of Songbirds and whatever. And me and you just like we're having this exact conversation right now. You're like, I don't really care. I'm looking at his stuff. I'm like, yeah, his highest rated film is something called The Rescue. I guess it's got an 8.3, but he was a producer.
Okay.
His writing credits, nothing is clearing over 7. So who would you have write the film?
Ooh.
And do you have any ideas for what you'd want the film to be like?
Oh, that's a beefy question to be asked without any warning or prep. You know what? Get Kirkman. Robert Kirkman. Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's very good at writing character. Let him write a script. He's very good at dealing with unique characters and coming up with interesting characters. So,
where would you go with the movie?
So, God. Oh, not Phoenix. So, bring it small. Because you don't want to go big, and you definitely don't want to go Phoenix. I bring it.
Because it's a bigger team, so you got to be careful. Because remember, Eternals. One of the problems of Eternals is too many characters.
But the Eternals doesn't have the same clout as the X-Men. Even my mom knows X-Men. So
yeah, I know, but you
don't have to explain the X-Men the same way you have to do the Eternals. Who the fuck are the Eternals?
You don't, but I still think you need to. If you have too many characters, okay, well, who's your lineup? That's a better question.
Oh, so my goodness, you have to have Cyclops and Storm. They're the leaders. Wolverine for the fan service. You know what's funny thinking about it? I can see how in the original X-Men in the movie, it was a great movie, but you could see why Gambit wasn't there, because then it just becomes too bloated. It becomes too many people. So I don't know. Here, I'm gonna volley it back to you. Robert Kirkman is the writer.
Storm and Jean, sure. I mean Storm.
Storm,
Jean and Cyclops, sure. You want Xavier?
Yeah.
I'd probably. I mean, I would. I don't know. I don't know what I'd do for villain yet. I mean, Magneto's.
Well, so here's the thing: would you start it off as walking into the movie, assuming that we already know the characters by now, or do you treat it like,
no,
let's bring in Rogue, let's bring in Jubilee, let's bring in Sunspot, let's bring in somebody?
I mean, look, I would assume you know the characters, but I do think you do need to choose your audience character.
Right.
You know what? Maybe I don't. I would do it backwards though. I guess they would. You'd have to do it so well. I don't know. I want Sinister. That's what I want as my villain.
Sinister would be great.
But I almost want to do, and I would. You'd have to knock it out of the park, but it'd almost be cool to do a solo Sinister movie.
So I didn't see the new one, but the New Mutants, the one that was like a horror X-Men, was Sinister behind that? Because you could do, because you can do something like that. Yeah. Like take that archetype and then have Sinister be the one behind it.
I definitely want Sinister my villain though, regardless. Like, because I think he's a great villain, and you know he's like the plotter kind of guy.
Yeah.
And then my lineup, I would go Scott and Jean, sure. Wolverine, but I kind of do an X-Men '97 thing. Because I want him more there just to react to people, kind of like Hulk in the Avengers movie.
Yeah.
Like there, but like you know what I mean.
Just spiritually present until the right moment.
Yeah, but I mean, he's better when he's reacting to people. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah. We get to see him react. Like one of his best moments, other than outside Logan, was when they were like, "Hey, would you like to join the X-Men?" He's like, "Why don't you go fuck yourself?"
Yeah,
something like that. So yeah, but Wolverine, Colossus is a definite. Storm is probable. I don't know. Then I pick like someone fun, like Psylocke or like somebody cool, you know.
I'd love to see Psylocke get some more love on the big screen.
Yeah, she was played by Olivia Munn. I actually liked her character. She just didn't get a lot of showtime.
Yeah, she didn't do a whole lot. That sucks.
Yeah, I don't know, but I hope it's good. I really, really, really hope it's good. I think X-Men's an excellent property. I'd like to see it on the big screen. Or let's just stop making big screen movies and just start doing high budget series. Right. You know?
Yeah.
The problem is then you don't get the huge spectacle. Like you know what you could do? Like, this is an idea. Do low budget series and then have those
lead up to right. I had the same thought. So you build it up on the small screen and then bam to the big screen. Fuck yeah! They're sort of doing that with Mandalorian, because they're building up to their movie. So we'll see if
but like I know Game of Thrones fumbled it, but imagine if like in theaters the War with the Undead movie. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like and that just comes out and everybody was loving Game of Thrones at that moment. You know? Right. I think like let's combine mediums.
Right? When Superman high fives Jesus, you son of a bitch, you can be friends. I mean, pull it off right, because have it be an event. That's what it needs to be nowadays, is an event.
Yeah. And then it's a safer bet, because like when you can, if you're Hollywood, you go like, well, what show is doing really well?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because if everybody's watching Breaking Bad, then a Breaking Bad movie is a safe bet.
Right.
You know, and
But
and that's what
but don't feel obligated to do it just to do it, because that's when you start.
I know, but that's how
But
you.
of course they will. But you know.
I know I respect. I guess I know. I understand the necessity for them to think budget first.
Yes.
I just think that you need a creative to rein it in.
Mm.
Um, or you just have to accept that and accept that, like, yeah, we're gonna get trends and they're gonna work and not work, but I think that would be a promising way to do things, because then you like I said, you could go experience like these big moments. It doesn't even have to be the finality. It could just be like, you know what, this is a part of this show that's too big for a smaller budget.
Mm.
Let's make it into a movie, you know?
Right.
Um,
Could you imagine if Game of Thrones built itself up to have that final thing be a movie, and they just built it up and just had that movie chunk to just really deliver the finale?
yeah.
And they could, God, the marketing for that crap would just thinking about it blows my fucking mind. Like, you could have made such a huge thing out of it. But you know what? Mandalorian is on pace to hopefully do that. I think that's going to be the one that'll show if it can be done, and fingers crossed if Disney can do a Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, they have a few times. I mean, like,
Yeah.
they've pulled off a couple of things I've enjoyed. Mandalorian being one of them.
Yeah, they have.
But yeah, no, I agree. It would be cool. I'm looking forward to Mandalorian. I really hope it's good. I want to see more of his ship. I want to see more of, like, just everything Grogu. I'm excited.
Right.
It's a fun world to hang out in.
Mm.
It was a fun universe to hang out in, but like I got bored as soon as the plot started going. Was what was that movie where it's the Western, but like they were robots and like you could go in there, it was like a game.
Oh, Westworld.
Yeah. Like season 1, like it was interesting because but I wanted more of the game. I wanted it made me want to go experience. I didn't want to hurt anybody or like do any of the horrible stuff that they were doing to people. But like it did make me want to live in that world a little bit. And I liked how the fact that there were like people like, oh, and then they'll turn up and they'll rescue them. And they're like, yeah, that's a great idea. Like, you know what I mean? That would be like the ultimate theme park.
Right.
But I do think they capture it right though, because they're like, yeah, people are getting bored of this shit. And it's like, how are you getting bored of it? That sounds amazing. But
right.
Like,
it's completely open world. Do whatever.
I know, but that's like we're just talking about how like we live in this world where like movies are like, holy fucking shit, and like shit's going over your head, and we're just like, that's cool.
I think we're just desensitized to everything now.
Yeah.
Slowly getting desensitized. Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it. If Iron Man came out tomorrow, which is birthed the entire MCU,
right?
You would just go,
that was good.
Would you even go see it? You know what I mean? Like, you might. I definitely would.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't see it. I have to wait for it to get on digital, but yeah.
Right.
Anyway, so Vision. Oh yeah, so X-Men movie. This is A24. They've been doing some good stuff lately, I think. They've acquired the U.S. rights for The Death of Robin Hood.
Oh.
It's going to be starring Hugh Jackman and Jodie Comer. The film follows Robin Hood grappling with his past after a life of crime and murder, whilst in the hands of a mysterious woman after being badly injured. I've heard about this film. It's Hugh Jackman. He's like hurt, and so he's hanging out with her, and like it sounds cool. And like A24, like lately their movies have been doing really well.
Yeah, we'll see. Hugh Jackman is good. Can't wait to see him in Wolverine.
They did they did that America film, the war one. I can't wait to see that.
Civil War.
Yeah. They did a few others. A24, like that's what I mean. They're kind of like a more, if you like, up and coming
indie film.
Yeah, they're like more like indie films. We're getting more like interesting kind of things.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of, if you're into film, I think they're a good studio to follow at the moment. And they also did Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Okay, yeah. I was trying to remember what else they did.
Yeah, just pulling it up. There's a few: Ex Machina, Lady Bird,
That was a
Moonlight.
great movie. That'll be a good Beholders to go back to. There's a lot of nudity in that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. I think they're a good studio to follow at the moment, and them doing this like Robin Hood film with Hugh Jackman. I don't know, I think it'll be a solid flick. I'm definitely interested in it.
Wonder if they'll have.
Thank you, Writers Realm and the Vogue writers for liking the fact that we're live. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Finally, did you hear about this? The whole thing with OpenAI.
Which part?
Where they were doing their presentation. They've got their new Chat GTP thing.
Yeah.
It had the voice of. It sounded like Scarlett Johansson.
Oh yeah. And she's pissed off.
Apparently, they asked her they're like, "Hey, can we do this?" And then she said no. And then before the thing, they just said they were like one word her, and they were like trying to even though she didn't want to do it. And then the voice came out, and they were like, "Oh, it totally wasn't Scarlett Johansson. That's a completely different voice that has nothing to do with Scarlett Johansson. But we're taking it down anyway, and we apologize even though we're not wrong, because that's not Scarlett Johansson." And
I know that she's been outspoken about that sort of thing, and it's good. They shouldn't have done that. It's so.
I think it's actually important that it happened because it brings up the larger question that I think keeps needing to be asked about AI, which is intellectual property.
Right.
And I think that's the most important thing because I agree. It's inevitable. It's definitely more of a tool than people are putting forward with.
Right.
But it needs to be, like I said, intellectual property needs to be considered. I think what they should do, in my opinion, hard ban on using anything right now. Like you cannot put forward this. If you do, you'll be held liable. Like if I just go, hey, write me a sci-fi novel, and then I'm like, hey, I wrote this sci-fi novel.
Right.
That should be completely illegal.
Right.
I don't know how you'd enforce it, but that's the biggest problem I have right now because it's stitched together other things, But
yeah.
And then they just did it with her. They just made her Scarlett Johansson's voice.
So it's funny because you can trace. There's a way to trace where the AI is pulling from.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah,
and fellow nerd Andy was here earlier, and he's working in that field with the AI and whatnot. So he's explaining it to me, and it's both. It's terrifying and hilarious at the same way because it doesn't work the way we think it works. It works based off of the way he describes it is it's trying to predict what the next pixel is going to be, and its success is determined whether or not how many tokens it gets as reward for doing a good job, essentially. And that's a weird thing. So, it has no idea what it's doing. That's why it has no idea how fingers and hands really work because it's just guessing the pixels.
Yeah,
I guess so.
Well, I mean, look, I understand sort of because I was a production artist and when people would be like, "Oh, can't you just get rid of the background?" or something like that,
right?
And can't you just remove that person? And then you're looking and you're like, "Well, there's a fish tank behind them." Right? And yeah, just Photoshop them out. And I would have to explain to people, you don't understand. That means I need to realistically paint in fish, right?
Right.
And that's what it's doing.
It's filling in the holes.
Yeah, but it's doing it by the way I look at it is okay, when you start out in art,
yeah,
everybody does this. You look at a picture you like, and then you draw it. I have a couple of my own of that around the room just because I was proud of how they turned out.
Right.
But they're not my art. It's an inferior version of someone else's. But in doing it, I learned how to draw.
Right.
And that's the problem. It's that only with lots of art all at once.
Right.
And you're not learning how to draw.
Right.
And then you're also claiming that what you've made is unique. It's still derivative.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. But I have played. It is scary though, because I played with the voice thing AI myself, and I just recorded my own voice a couple of times, and I was making myself say stuff, and I was like, "This is terrifying! Holy fuck!" Like,
So what was it you posted the other day? Give me the ingredients of.
oh. So this is funny. So Google has added AI to their Google search thing. So anytime you Google something, their AI tells you stuff.
Yeah.
And AI is popping up in annoying places. I was on, because I have a friend that uses Instagram. I know we have an Instagram. I rarely use it. But now, like, I use it to talk to her, and they've got Meta on there, and like I'm like, no, I don't want you. Go away. And I'm like, disable the chat, the AI, and it's like, I'm sorry, I can't be disabled. It's like,
No.
but no, people. So Google's got one, and it's their top result is their AI give it. So if you ask it a question, it tries to tell you an answer.
Right.
So someone asked it like, how do I stop my cheese from sliding off my pizza? And the Google was like, oh, you just want to put some glue in
non-toxic glue.
And they're like, Elmer's glue is what we recommend, and like, and then like it gives you the recipe, and what you find out though is it's because of one guy.
Reddit, yeah. So when they investigated it, they traced it to a Reddit page or a Reddit thread.
Yeah.
So that's funny, and that's what I was mentioning earlier. Is there's a way that they can figure out where it's pulling from, and it's funny that it's now pulling from. But see, that's scary though, because that shows you like the lengths of which it's searching to fill that hole. It's
no, I know, but like what's funny is so that's the thing. It's like your search thing is just worse now.
Right.
The other thing, and people are posting him like they asked it like, has a dog ever played in the NBA? Well, it was like Air Bud. So then like, yeah. And then, the well-known documentary Air Bud.
Of course.
Did you see
former Battle Nerds contingent?
Did you see that SNL skit where like Sydney Sweeney, she was on SNL, and like she's like playing the hot cheerleader, and like they're like, oh yeah, it's like you missed the last game, but like we got a new player in, and they said we like couldn't have him, but there was no rule against it, and then like it's Air Bud, and he sat there. And then she's like, hey, I'm the head cheerleader. I heard you played and like stuff. And like, dude, it's a dog. It's so funny.
I still think that he could have taken out Godzilla, but
I still maintain that Godzilla was just unaware that there was a battle. He was just walking down the street, maybe fighting one of the other kaiju, and he was just and then, like, over. Everybody's sitting there doing some sick trick, jumping on the bed, and then just
Godzilla's just unaware. That's funny.
Anyway, but yeah, so that's all I got in the news. Do you have anything else?
Yes, so after a long-awaited moment, I finally have Malibu Beach volleyball there.
My favorite, my favorite part. Show them the back.
So
because it says the part about like with moves as hot as bikinis as hot as this, the gameplay is even hotter or something. And look at that little pixel bikini, and I was like, damn, that must be some hot gameplay.
Oh, wait.
The action as hot as the ref's bikini. Okay, give us the story, because you got it signed and everything.
Yeah, so it's funny when you read the backs of this old nonsense, this garbage. No, but so right here is Mr. Craig Moodhart, who was my first teacher ever in high school. My freshman year, he was my geography teacher. He's still teaching there, so I said, you know what? I want his autograph, so I had the youngling take this. She tracked him down, and awkwardly asked him to sign the thing, and he signed the thing. So hopefully he will be in attendance at the youngling's graduation on Thursday, and I'll be able to thank him myself for this cool thing. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this graded, and I will be the only person in the world with a signed and graded copy of Malibu Beach Volleyball for the Game Boy. Fuck yeah.
That's awesome.
Milestone.
I love the back, though. That was my favorite thing when you were showing it, and I just read that, and I was just like, oh, damn, that's a hot bikini. The action's got to be hot in that game.
Oh, my God. Look at that.
It's like when
there's even like a line down the middle. It's just
it's like that R-rated game, General Custer's Revenge.
Oh yeah,
it's
just this weird little pixelated dude.
Like arrows raining down and stuff.
God, I remember seeing those at the store when I was younger.
That game, I just remembered though. That game is like horribly racist though, right? Like
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh God, I never. I think I played that game when I was like 12 or something.
Wasn't there there's something with a Native American, I believe?
I think that was No, I'm not gonna go into it, but let's.
No, I think we shall. So,
no.
Anyways, moving on.
Anywho, let's see what else is going on. Okay, well, I'll briefly talk about it. My Adventures with Superman dropped. We had episodes 1 and 2. God, I like this show. I feel like animation is so good recently. It's so good. But yeah, it picked up right where it left. I kind of wish I went back and watched the ending of it again, maybe even the whole first season again, because it was that good.
Yeah.
But but it picks up where the old one ended. Clark's dreaming. Obviously, do you remember at the end of season 1? It ended with that big battle against like the Kryptonian tech and everything, and Jor-El's there trying to talk to him. And
right. I love that little added flavor of him not understanding Jor-El. I like that. He doesn't speak.
Well, I like
That's
cool. This is my favorite Superman at the moment. He's just, even though it's a very different take on Superman. The villains are all based on Kryptonian tech. It's very, very different. It's also exactly the right kind of Superman, you know?
Right. He really is.
Yeah. There's all this stuff going on. I mean, I'll just one small spoiler, and it's like, oh, it's Valentine's Day, and then well, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I'm gonna pick up our favorite ramen, spicy for Lois, normal for me. Then we'll just sit and watch the sunset and eat ramen together. And everyone's like, that's what you're doing for your first Valentine's Day with her? Like, what are you? It's okay, enjoy being single. And then later in the episode, he's with her in the Fortress of Solitude, because they introduced that. It's attacking her.
Okay.
And he's with Jor-El, and Jor-El's like, so let me get this straight. You brought your mate, who has none of our powers, here, and you've left her by herself. He's like, boy, son, I would have to do some kind of extravagant gesture for your mother, and and it's just stressing him out because he feels like he has to live up to Valentine's Day. Meanwhile, it cuts to her, and she's like, and someone's like, yeah, no, poor Clark, he's been stressed out all the day about Valentine's Day, and now this. And then she's like, it's Valentine's Day? And so she didn't even know. And that's what I mean, the show, the characterizations of the characters are just so spot on.
That's
you know
great.
what I mean? Even though everything's weird, they got them right.
They got the characters right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that excites me. I'll watch it on Wednesday.
Yeah. No, and then it was really good. Shut up and take my money. Enjoyed both episodes. Knocked it out of the park. You know what else is out right now? And I said this. You didn't respond on the group chat. I keep meaning to talk about it on our show. I keep forgetting. Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah. So you mentioned that. You said it's good.
Yeah. So, we had. Okay, I've been waiting for it to become free. It finally came out free on HBO. I watched the first one. Okay, so a while ago, Warworld came out. Actually, it's been building up. So you know how they made this new universe? They ended the new 32 run. They made this new one.
Yeah.
and it's kind of been like,
Yeah.
Then this weird one came out, Warworld, and I was like, that was different. I don't know if I liked it or not, but it was different. You know what I mean? Like they were doing something. And at the end of Warworld, Figure shows up. She's like, "This is all dumb. Come with me instead." And like, and you're like, okay. And then they show up, and she's like, "Yeah, we're all gonna die. The antimatter wave is going across, killing everything." And they're like, "So we're building all of the heroes together." And so it's all these different versions of every major hero. Like it's Wonder Woman from the one we watched, where she's in World War II and stuff. Like
with,
like,
with the bullet head. With the weird hair. Yeah, that's the one with the weird hair.
Yeah, they changed her art style then.
Okay.
Because it's all the same art style. But yeah, but it's like that Wonder Woman. It's like Batman from a universe where he never took Robin in.
Okay.
And so it's the Bat family all comes together, but they're Bat family from different worlds. So it's like Huntress, it's the Huntress from Earth too. So where it's Catwoman and Bat
and Bruce. Okay.
She calls him Dad, and he's like, I don't know any of you. And then like Robin shows up, and he's like, yeah, no, it's like an adult Robin.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, you took me in, like yeah, I was you made me, and he was like, I want to thank you, you know, like I've lost my Batman, but I want to thank you. And he's like, I took you in as a child, and I made you my apprentice or whatever. And she's like, yeah. He's like, that seems horribly irresponsible of me. And like, he's like, well, maybe, but and then he talks about why it's good and stuff, and like,
right.
And it's interesting. So you have all these characters interacting, and it's about Crisis where the wave is coming. It's mostly a Flash story.
Okay.
And it's such a beautiful Flash story. Then the second one came out. It's not quite as good, but it's still it's really good though, because it's a really good Supergirl story.
Okay.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, this is over, right? But no, because the Anti-Monitor just showed up. And so it's like, it's this big story. I know it's going to reboot everything. It's funny because they just rebooted. It felt like probably happened 10 years ago. It seems like time flies now.
Yeah.
But New 52 one ended. Then they brought out this one, and I've been like, whatever. Now I'm like, oh, this is great. And it's like, yeah, we're rebooting it. And I'm like, but no, watch them. At least watch the first one. It's on HBO. It's so good. It's the best thing they've done in a while. It's that good. It is an amazing Flash story. If you like the Flash, and you know what made me think about it was because Rebel Moon. Rebel Moon was out, and I just watched Rebel Moon 2, and we talked about it.
Right.
And it was like, hey, let's bring together a team, and we got to stop something bigger than us. And I was like, boy, this was really shitty. And then I watched this other one, and they're like, we need to bring together a team, you guys, stop things bigger than us. And I'm like, this is great. And like, it's funny too, because like Question's there.
Yeah.
And like Question's like, because Monitor's there. Monitor's like, does anybody have any questions? And Question's like, I have a few. And then like, and then the guy's like, I thought you might. It would be weird if you didn't. And then like someone's like, well, who the hell is that guy? And like, I forget. I think Green Arrow's like, oh no, he's from my universe. Yeah, it makes sense. And
he's mine.
But it's interesting. They split because like Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Question, Batman. They're like the think tank.
Yeah.
And then he brings in other heroes who are like more like hey, I can like Superman. He can build shit really fast.
Right.
And so they're trying to figure out how to stop the wave. And it's really like they like evil Superman, Ultraman. Here's I'm just gonna punch it really hard. He's no longer there. Oh. You understand?
It's the anti-monitor wave.
Antimatter wave, and they're trying to go through it with matter.
Yeah. It's funny at Target now. They're selling the anti-monitor figure. I saw it the other day. It made me think of you. It's big. It's a chunky one, but I mean, I'll check it out. I like the thought of having Batman who never adopted any of the kids, so he's still Batman, but like, yeah, he's just more solitary, isolated, grumpy,
and the rest of them are like wanting to be there with him. You see that more in the second one, they're like, "Bat family, go!" And they're like fighting with him, and he's just like, "What the fuck is going on?" He pushes people away. He's like, "I don't want you here. I'm here because this is the one in Gotham. That's where I'm meant to be."
Right.
Because they erect towers across the multiverse.
Okay.
To protect all the Earths and stuff like that. It's a pretty complex story.
Interesting.
But anyway,
is Brimstone? Is he craving violence, evil?
no, I thought he was trying to get out, but no, that's just him like in his litter box, which I gotta change today. I'm not supposed to, but I have to.
Doing cat
Because
things.
of the kidney disease thing.
Yeah.
Or a new kidney thing, I should say. Do you want to do Battle Nerds?
Yeah. So, Battle Nerds, this is where we random roll from a list of 100 fighters and put them against each other in a battle to the death. My goodness.
Not necessarily.
I mean, not necessarily to death, but it's actually become more of like a narratively driven like discussion, which I think is cool because some of the characters like today are just monstrously off balance. So today we have Rogue versus Ron Swanson.
Well, also, our last week was Han Solo versus Captain America.
Superman.
Superman, sorry. So we put that up on Facebook and Twitter. A lot of you guys watched that battle from Twitter, I noticed, so I appreciate that.
Nice.
Or that debate. And so Han Solo was actually doing pretty well on Twitter. At first he was ahead.
Oh.
And I was really surprised by. But I guess the argument of him getting the kryptonite, that worked for some people.
Yeah.
But then Superman votes started coming in. And then your 4 just added to it and Superman crushed Han Solo. So Han Solo didn't go out.
Okay.
Terrible. He held his own. But ultimately,
so, it's funny. I came up with the same form of argument for Han Solo that you did. So, I mean, that's about all you can do. He's yeah.
But yeah, so this week we got Pawnee's Ron Swanson. I will be defending versus Champ with 6 wins under her belt, Rogue. Which version of Rogue are you going with?
So I'm gonna go with just amalgam comic book Rogue.
Okay.
Just the
one... Where is she at in her power? Like it's varied a lot.
So here, you know what? I'll make it easier. So
I figured you go 97.
Yeah, let's go 97. Fuck it, 97. It's fresh on my mind. Let's go 97.
Okay, I'm gonna do obviously the only Ron Swanson I know was the one from Parks and Rec.
So you're I would say that you're the underdog on this one, and I'd love to hear what you've come up with. So how does what is the scenario? What is the
Well, okay, I imagine why would these two come to blows, right?
Right.
Well, Rogue, kind of similar to what happened in '97. Rogue, she shows up and talks to Captain America.
Yeah.
But this is more like Rogue's like, we need to put on a mutant pride parade, sugar. And so she needs to go to the Parks Department to get a permit for doing it. She gets to work around. She needs to talk to Ron because he's in charge of that.
Right.
And so first hurdle Rogue needs to somehow get through is April, okay? I mean, now,
yeah. Okay.
I thought about this, though. Well, April is normally an excellent barrier for Ron.
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna fucking love Rogue. And, so she's going to be more interested in seeing Rogue go up against Ron
Swanson
than trying to stop this.
Right.
So, damn, I can't rely on April. If anything, April's going to be like, "Can I follow you around forever?"
Right.
And
right.
So anyway, so Rogue's going to get through his. She's gonna be like, okay, this is an appointment. Ron's gonna be like, all right, what? And the problem is that she's gonna think Ron is disagreeing with her for
ideologically.
Mutant rights and stuff.
But he's not. He's a policy guy.
Yeah. No, it's not even that he's a policy guy. He just doesn't care.
Mm.
He doesn't want to do his job, and like he hates government.
Right.
He works in government, but he hates government.
Right.
He is the ultimate libertarian. So he just go do it. I don't care.
Right.
Why? Don't bother me. um, like, so she's gonna get mad, and then he's gonna be like, I imagine this is where it's gonna get sort of like the Captain America thing. She's gonna be like, you're either with us or you're against us. And she's gonna like break his office, and then he's gonna be like, young lady, like. Problem the where they connect, where these two people connect, and I think he's smart enough to realize that he's not gonna be able to handle her in a fight at all.
Right.
I also think Rogue's probably not just gonna punch his head off.
Right. Yeah.
Because that just doesn't seem
that's just against who she is.
Yeah. So he, however, is also like kind of like a southern dude and stuff, because like in one episode with his wife Tammy One, he drank the entire thing of moonshine, and then he like held it and like was just like, yeah, because he's Ron Swanson. So that's where they connect from that roots. So they're gonna have a drink off. He's gonna beat her. He's gonna drink her under the table, and it's gonna end with her KO'd from alcohol.
You think that Rogue? You think that he can beat Rogue in a drink off?
Oh yeah.
No. Oh, okay. Yeah. So Rogue.
Rogue is tough. Yes. I guess
Rogue,
the question,
Rogue can touch him, get his powers.
Does she have chemical resistance? That's a question, because I actually don't know.
I will look that up right now. Because if she's got to have chemical resistance.
Maybe, but I mean, I've never seen her drink, and I have seen him drink, and he drinks at a superhuman level. So I mean, that's a superpower he has. Here, shut up. Oh, I'll give you one of these.
My Rogue has no poison resistance. Or maybe the blah, blah, blah. Okay, so it looks like she doesn't have poison resistance. Okay. So she would have to...
I believe she's going to be a strong contender. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
She's from the South. Like her first boyfriend's name was Bobby and all that. Like,
right.
Okay. Yeah, no.
So I will allow that this fight will boil down to them getting in a tit for tat drinking thing. Okay, that's perfect, because all she needs to do is touch Ron Swanson. Maybe she starts to realize that she can't do it, and he's, Ron Swanson. She doesn't need to touch him much, just a little, just to get some of that power, and that's it. She wins. All she needs to do is just boop.
I would argue that she's too traumatized to do that to a human.
Yeah,
she almost killed her first boyfriend.
Yeah. I know.
Suddenly my superpower trumped
No, see, that was great, because I was wondering where you were going to go with this. So,
no. So just to explain, like, I don't know if you saw it, but it's the episode where he's going up. I can't remember why, but there's an entire jug of like, it's basically turpentine and stuff.
Right.
and he freaking snakes it over his arm, holds it, and he just chugs the whole thing. And he just holds his own and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, he did get really horribly drunk in the one episode with that guy invents a cocktail or something.
Yeah.
Like, but I mean, he does have like crazy alcohol resistance.
Right.
Like,
now, do you think Rogue can get drunk enough to where she'll start swinging? Like, she'll get like angry.
I don't know. Yeah, that is true. I mean,
be
she's an angry drunk.
Because she really wants to put on this pride parade for the mutants, and if this guy's being a dick about it, like, yo, enough of this. Let us have our damn parade. I mean,
Yeah,
she could
but
pivot. She could pivot to that.
okay. I'll give it to you. Okay, so she's an angry drunk. I don't even know drunk she'll kill him, but he's
No,
smart enough to be like, let's get out of here.
right.
So he's gonna get his people out. He's gonna get April and Leslie and everybody, and they're gonna bounce out of the building.
Right.
Rogue starts punching it down, and now this just looks like a mutant just went crazy,
Oh
got
no!
drunk and was punched. So you just hurt your own cause, buddy.
No!
The X-Men now need to show up and like
Do PR.
Like, Rogue.
Do damage control.
And then Leslie will probably be excited because people will be like, "Oh my god, the X-Men are right." I forget what her name is, but the porn star parody version of Leslie Knope is one of my favorite characters.
Mm.
Like, because I like it when they're in the meetings, and they're doing the political debates together, and like they're like Leslie says something, and then the porn star Leslie says something. They're like, clearly they're the same person, and she's like, "Oh my god." That's just such a good show.
You know, it's funny. Last night we were watching the Metalocalypse episode where they have their body doubles, like their lookalikes. Right. That was fun. I'm on season 2 now. It's funny.
There is a movie. There is a Metalocalypse movie that I haven't seen yet.
It was just funny that they befriended their lookalikes because they didn't have friends, so they're just chilling with their lookalikes. Anyway.
All right, well,
so no, this was fun. You know what? I'll we can end it there because
So you think that Rogue will ultimately just get drunk, knock the
so
building down?
I don't think she
survives.
So I don't think she'll be like violent, but I think she can like at least talk him down to where he'll allow the permits, but on the back end he'll add some type of weird stipulation where when they show up for the permits, maybe they'll fuck up the date or something.
Again, I just think he doesn't want to. He just doesn't want to do it. See, I will say this: it is possible. If she's smart, she'll get Leslie involved.
Yeah.
And I could
talk to a manager.
After Leslie gets involved, and Leslie would get it done.
Yeah.
So yeah, or something like that. I mean, I could see her pulling off getting her permit. But okay, we'll put it up for debate. Do you think Ron Swanson can stop an angry Rogue from getting a permit for
the Mutant Pride Parade? I love it.
I'm arguing that yes, he can. Cap is arguing that no, she can't. I mean, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Cap's arguing in favor of Rogue. I'm arguing in favor of.
Let's roll for the next week, and then let's talk some pitch stuff because I like talking pitch stuff. I rolled a 2.
Okay. 2. You got Vader.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, Vader's been kicking ass lately. This is weird. Vader versus Kong.
Okay. Okay.
You can't just blow Kong out of the water with your Star Destroyer.
Shut up. It's called the Executor, and it's well within his right.
I have the Godzilla thing axe him up, jumping through the air, it deflects it.
Okay, so tune in next week where we will be pitting Darth Vader, Dark Lord of the Sith versus King Kong. Oh yeah, that'll be great.
Godzilla is no longer on the list. Who did Godzilla lose to?
Was it Superman? No, it wasn't Superman. It was
That recently happened in comics, but Godzilla won that fight.
Really? How?
Yeah. He shot him with his breath.
Superman?
Yeah. And then they were like, Superman's dead.
Superman hangs out like neutron stars. What's atomic breath going to do to Superman?
Kill him, I guess.
How? The guy hangs out in the core of stars. Like,
It's not. It's kind of like how like it's not a or Superman. It's like a Superman. It's one of these crossover Superman.
Okay.
So it's it's different powers. I mean, he's still. But I mean, that's the only answer I can give. He killed him by hitting him with his breath.
Okay.
And that was it. And they purposely did that to make. I mean, it's also not core Godzilla, so who knows?
Yeah.
But
okay.
but they did it so that you would go exactly what you did. And you went like, how? Like, because that's how the comic ends. That Superman just obliterated.
Godzilla got a hold of a father box.
I don't know. It's still going on. People, these crossovers that they keep knocking out like that, and the Power Rangers one, and a few others. They're really good. They're good comics. But yeah, okay. So let me write this down. So next week it's King Kong versus Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Lord of the Sith.
Oh,
I'm reading that book right now, Darth Plagueis.
Mm-hmm. How is it?
That's pretty good.
It's good?
Yeah, it's good. I'm like, it talks about stuff I didn't know. Like, I didn't know that like a Sith Lord could just be like, I didn't know that a Sith Lord could just go like, hey, I want to run 100 kilometers in a couple of hours. And it's like, yeah, no big deal. And I'm like, they could do that? They could just, like, and it's like, yeah, he's just running across the water. Like, they have those powers? How come I never see them do shit like this in the movies?
Yeah, I mean, the whole point of them is that they rely too heavily on the Force to do selfish things, and they get caught up with all the power, and they become obsessed with it, and because it's that sort of cascade, if you will, they just become obsessed with it. So,
well, so it starts with, oh god,
it's Palpatine killing Plagueis, right? It starts with that.
Yeah, it starts with that, and then it goes to,
how does he kill him?
Plagueis.
In his sleep, right?
I don't. I think they just he like hits him with a tremendous amount of the Force, and then he talks about like how he just thought he felt like he was being overwhelmed by it and blah blah blah, and then he kind of comes down from it. And he realized like, holy shit, I killed him, and it's more talking about like that. I think he just went like kapow Force, and then like he was just like, dead now, and then he was scared to even get near him though,
right?
But then like. It cuts to Plagueis, and it's him fighting, or it's basically the story of him killing his master, Trenin Browis or something like that. I forget his name, but it's something like that, Trenin Bows or something.
Something like that.
And yeah, and then they're researching. There's a metal, I guess, that fucks with lightsabers that. Darth Bane discovered, or something like that.
See, I think fellow nerd Adrian is the one who knows all of this, like, newer lore.
Well, this is Legacy.
Is this Legacy?
Yeah, this is an old book, I think. Hang on, I got it right here. Essential Legends. This is Legends.
Legend? Oh, okay. God, I'm out of touch with Star Wars with some of that stuff.
Yeah,
I know. Adrian.
Legends is the old lore, right?
Yeah,
like the one.
Yeah,
that's the extended lore of the first movie. Yeah. So that's this. I'm reading it because Real Super Killers was like, you need to read it, and I was like, so that's where I'm at. But yeah, so he kills him, and then like I said, he just has the power to run across like. I gotta get somewhere real fast. And he's wounded, but like, it's like he's dealing with it, and then because basically he like tricks him, and then he causes a cave-in and an explosion and all this shit, and that's how he kills Trenin Browis or whatever. And then he's like, oh no, I'm actually proud of you as he's dying. But he's like, oh, you fucking idiot! Actually, you're dead now too because you don't have a ship. And he's like, no, I got it. And yeah, he's just like. I was like, yeah, he doesn't have a ship. How's he going to get off this place? And then he's like, oh, there's a spaceport just 100 kilometers away. And I'm like, oh, you're fucked. And then he was like, nope. do. I was like, oh, there are flashes as well. This is news to me.
That's cool.
But yeah, they seem a lot more powerful in the book, like than what I would have thought. Like I didn't know like they use a lot of their power to just like maintain
Sustain
their own existence.
Yeah, because it's yeah. It takes a
But,
toll
yeah.
doing all those awesome.
Yeah, but also they're like superhuman because of it. Like stuff like doesn't hurt them as bad,
right.
And yeah, this is although it is talking about midichlorians in it, because one of them's like, oh well, I can see the midichlorians dying and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and he talks about how like he's like wondering if he can figure out a way to like make them not die or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
because I guess there's a lot of talk about resurrection because wasn't Sidious afraid because Plagueis was so interested in bringing back the dead, like because he was like, oh, well, like maybe he's not really dead. What if he actually pulled it off, you know?
Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
And so there's a lot of that. So I don't know. It's interesting. I'm enjoying it. I like how it's a story about an evil character.
Yeah.
I find that interesting. Actually, you were talking about pitches. We have talked about it before. Doing like our idea for an evil protagonist movie.
Okay.
And then Super Killers, he wants to come and pitch one with us when we do that.
Fuck yeah, let's do it. Evil protagonist, villain pitches. Okay.
Yeah, you got any ideas?
I'll think about it. Now, should we? We're not coming up with our own evil villain. We're taking a evil villain.
I mean, whatever you want.
Okay.
I would just say no restrictions. It just has to be a movie where it actually is. I would say it probably shouldn't be the one that Super Killers is already writing.
Right. Okay.
But you can create your own, or you can
Yeah.
take that. You could be like, yeah.
I'll think of.
Why isn't there a Darth Plagueis movie? I don't care. Whatever you think would be cool.
Okay.
Um,
I'm down for that. Evil character. Okay. I'll have to think
I
about
guess I
it.
have played a lot of evil characters in D&D I could pull from.
Do the Drizzt movie. The Drizzt.
Well, he's a good guy, though.
Is he a good guy? I thought he was a bad guy. Became a good guy.
No, because that's the whole thing is Drow are seen as evil, but he's like a good guy.
Oh.
Even though Drow are generally evil. Stop it, please. I gave him his playtime. I don't know. He's become annoying in the day.
I see him frantically jumping behind your chair. It's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that'll be a fun pitch to do. What else is going on?
What comes into your mind first for yours? What are you thinking?
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I would be tempted to do one of my D&D characters.
No, you gotta have more fun. Do the Gargamel prequel that everybody's been clamoring for. Do that.
Yeah, but like my character Ulfer, he's super evil because I was just like, I'm gonna be the evil. Like I would like go into towns with a carriage full of food, and I would just be like, hey, homeless people, come into my carriage. And then I would ride the carriage outside of town, and then just turn them into zombies, and then I would add them to my zombie army. And then also I had this power where like if I killed somebody, or if my follower killed somebody for me, I got health back. So I had a cage full of people that were easily killed.
Right.
And my follower would reach in and strangle, well, like not even have to strangle, we would just touch one of them and they would die from necrosis. And then I would get health back. So anytime I needed to do that, and then I just had all these people carrying a giant freaking throne that I rode on.
That's awesome. I mean, that sounds bad.
I was super evil. Like, I was as evil as you can be. Because my reasoning being is in the D&D universe, everybody argues this. No, I'm sorry. If you play a necromancer, you are evil. If you raise dead, you can play a necromancer and not raise dead. Fine. It says that it says in the book itself, if you people who raise the dead
Are evil.
Are evil. And the reason being is it's evil magic.
Nature. Yeah.
Well, it's like doesn't work like our world where you can go, well, I'm doing it for good reasons.
Right.
In the D&D universe, you have evil, or you have good, evil, lawful, chaotic, and neutral. And those are balancing forces. Right. So you're adding to evil every time you make an evil creature. So it's an evil act. You're becoming evil because of it.
Right.
So, yeah.
That's awesome.
I did make him lawful, though. So, like...
Okay.
He had a code.
Okay.
Like, because he was originally a thief. He became too powerful at the end. But originally he was a thief. And I did this system where if I robbed from you, I gave you a receipt. Because in my Thieves Guild, if I forgot and accidentally robbed from you, like, again that month, then like you could show me a receipt and be like, oh, you already got me. And I was like, oh, right, oh, sorry. And that was part of my law. Like, what was funny is Eric's character. The only reason none of this ever caught up to me was because Eric's character was paying he was like, I'm sorry about him. Here's some money. And like, I had no idea.
What character was he playing?
I can't even remember. This is an old campaign. But it was a really fun one because we played through several different versions of the same characters.
That's cool.
But yeah. What do you want to pick for Behold Nerds next?
Oh, you know what? Because we kept talking about it and I haven't seen it in forever. Let's watch 28 Days Later.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let's do it. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Da, 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 da.
Da, 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 da.
28 Days Later.
Let's do it.
Do you know what it's playing on?
Let me check. YouTube for sure for rental.
Yeah.
Later.
Oh, it's on. I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, it's on Prime. Cool.
It says currently unavailable to watch in your location.
Oh.
I'll look it up and I'll post. Okay.
You need to get yourself a VPN. NordVPN. The Pitch Nerds is brought to you in part by NordVPN. Give us money, NordVPN. Anyways.
Okay. It's an excellent product. I do. Well, actually,
no. Anyways, what else can we chat about? My goodness
I don't know. Let's pull up, see what's going on in the Twitterverse. It's funny. I guess there's a picture going around where everybody's trying to identify like all the different characters.
Okay.
And this one guy like he just like circled like, who are these three guys in the hats? And then I just reposted it with like, someone doesn't know what to do when a problem comes along. Like, it's the whippet, Crack that whip. Everybody seemed to like that one. Oh, here's a question. I guess he was thinking a lot of people don't know 5 stories off the top of their head, but Dan Zan, he posted what are 5 Superman stories? What is it? What are your top 5 favorite Superman stories?
Oh, God. See, are we talking about comics or just the TV shows?
It just says stories, so whatever, stories? I guess.
So,
he's a big enough character, I think.
Yeah. So, God, I love the death of Superman. I'd put that out there. I still love Injustice, if you count that as a Superman thing. I do really, really enjoy.
Which one in Injustice? The evil one or the good one?
The evil one. I mean, but see, both are great because both are Superman. Just, let's see here. Who else? I love the Kingdom Come one was good.
Mm-hmm. That was one of the ones I picked. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. What's on your list?
Okay, so What did I go with? Um, Well, I went with For the Man Who Has Everything. That's one of my favorite stories. That's the one where Batman, Robin with the weird. I was always uncomfortable with the really long, when he was just wearing like he had no pants
The
on. You know?
Speedo, yeah.
Yeah,
He
I
just
was
had
like,
the
"You're too old
bulge.
to be wearing that, homie."
Right.
Like,
How do you tuck that in? God.
I don't know. It made me uncomfortable. But the comic was great. Hey, stop it. Oh, there it goes. So yeah, that's the one where they show up at the Fortress of Solitude because it's his birthday, and they're like, what did you bring him? And then Batman brought him a breed of flower or something that like was like named after him. I forget what Wonder Woman brought him. But they were talking about like how do you get him something because he's got
Right.
everything.
Right.
And then they walk in, and he's got a flower on his chest, and it's a story about. It takes part in two worlds where it's like you find out Mongol was the one that gave it. They were like trying to work out who did this.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out Mongol did it.
Nice.
And it traps him in like a desire world. So it's like if Krypton never exploded, he has a wife and a kid and everything like that.
So he's just stuck in his own matrix.
Yeah. But it's like everything you could ever want.
Right.
And then Wonder Woman was the only one that could go up against Mongol, and he's like, oh, so let me ask, because like Mongol's like, who is the culturally appropriate person I should kill first? And Wonder Woman walks up to him, just boom,
Doesn't that?
Holy crap! And her hand is instantly shattered on his jaw. And then he goes, oh, I believe that answers that question. And then it just grabs her head, and it's just her getting killed by Mongol. Batman's like trying to pull the flower off because like Robin's like, we should help her. Dude,
No.
what?
Get this thing off him.
Yeah, so it's her fighting Mongol. She's getting her ass kicked. Superman has got the flower, and then Batman finally pulls it off. But like from his point of view, it's like he had to watch his son die before his eyes. And he's like, Batman's like, she's killing her, but because he believed his son to be real, so it's a really deep story.
Yeah.
And then he shows up and he nearly kills Mongol. Like it's cool. So that one, Secret Revealed. That's the one where Lex Luthor figures out that Clark Kent is Superman, but because of Lex Luthor's ego, he was like, "There's no way that it could be real because, of course, he basically was like, yeah, AI would say that. AI is dumb. And and then so he fires the girl that's in charge of doing it. Because he's like, you don't get it. Like, there's no way a god would ever pretend to just be fucking Clark Kent.
Right.
And so, yeah. So even though the Thing told him directly, he was just like, that's
couldn't
impossible.
see it. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
See, I like when Superman and Batman were on Batman's was a bachelor party, and it's just the two of them awkwardly eating soup. Well, the girls are out raiding the Fortress of Solitude, all of Superman's like exotic wines and liqueurs and shit. It's just
yeah. He's like, yeah. So this is good soup, man. And like he's like, yes, it is. And he's like, oh, there's an asteroid headed to Earth. I guess I should do something. Oh, no, Supergirl's handing that. And he's like, oh, yes, well, then let's continue hanging out. Good soup! And he's like, yes, indeed.
It's funny how Superman is the one who's the most human out of that whole exchange. That's the funniest part.
That was a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking about it before, but the whole thing with this isn't Superman, but the thing with Thanos and David, that's fun.
Oh yeah. So walk me through this. Who is David, and why does Thanos have such an issue with him?
It doesn't. He doesn't hate David or anything. So there's just this guy. His name is David, and then every year on his birthday, Thanos shows up and just does something terrible. Like I think he like at his 5th birthday, like he's sitting there and he's talking about like, no, the monster comes on my birthday, and then his mom's like, oh, don't be silly, because he'd been doing stuff like ever since he was a baby, like right. Like and then like he like kills his dad. Like throws his car down, and crushes dad's dead, and then like and then sometimes it's more petty, like his girlfriend's like, oh, I can't wait to see you, baby, and then he's like, do in his phone. He's like, you're never coming back from that comment, and and then she's like, don't ever fucking talk to me again. Right. He's like, oh. And then, like, when he gets fired, he's like, oh, you did this? And he's like, no, bad luck. And he's like, well, what then? He's like, your cat's dead. And, like, it's so messed up.
The one where the college is on fire?
Yeah. It's just, yeah. So, and then the thing was, one year he thought that Thanos didn't show up. And then he was like, hell yeah. And then because the Avengers defeated him. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh yeah, I'm free. And then but he comes back the next year. He's like, oh, sorry, Mr. Birthday Man.
Here's a double helping.
It's a weird thing, but I don't know. I guess you have to come to your own. Why do you think Thanos does it? So the guy he doesn't hate. I mean, he probably doesn't like him. But
so
at the same time,
you know what it is? It's a flex. It's a weird flex to just sort of tickle Thanos' ego. It's like befriending just a bug on the sidewalk or something. Just picking just some meaningless creature to just fuck with. Like,
yeah. So I mean, basically, it's nihilism, is my opinion. Yeah. He enjoys causing pain, and and he's just doing it on this scale because he does it on much bigger scale all the time.
It's just he's capable of being petty too.
He's enjoying the whole spectrum,
right?
And this is just just showing up and fucking with this dude every year for no reason.
It's like, what are you gonna do? I'm Thanos.
Yeah, and he doesn't even dislike him really. I mean, like that's the part that like a lot of people struggle with. It's like yeah, no, he's just
no, I'm just. This is for my health.
I love it when he's just like sitting there leaning against the wall, and like David's so used to it. It's just like, oh, what'd you do now? And,
I wonder if they'll ever truly become friends. Why doesn't he just call the Avengers to just come and whoop his ass every?
I don't know if they even know about it. It's not like a big thing. I mean, like sometimes he just kills a cat. I mean, like
yeah,
like. That's devastating to David. Sometimes he just texted his girlfriend something.
Okay, so you know what? So if I would use this to my advantage because we now know where Thanos is at least once a year, and we could have David be the bait. He's already coming for David. Have to be the bait. Create an LMD or something to pretend to be a David, and I don't know, pack him full of dynamite or some shit, and just blow his ass up.
I guess the question is which way do you go with it? Because are you the kind of person that just allows it to happen to you because this is the least that's gonna, you know what I mean? Yeah. Thanos will never really go beyond this.
Right.
If you actually go with the Avengers route, he could just decide to just stomp you out right then and there. You know what I mean?
Try befriending him. Let's be evil together. Teach me to be evil.
Yeah, but he'll never it'll still do it, dude.
Right. I know. I know.
There's a reason the only person he ever likes is Death. Which, by the way, I've been watching because we were talking about watching them. That Hulk show is on Disney Plus.
Is it?
And I think I was watching a couple of those, but I also watched an episode of the Silver Surfer one. I noticed that it's not death; it's chaos. I'm guessing because they didn't want to upset children.
Okay. Does it look like chaos though? Because Master Chaos. Is it?
No. It looks more like death. Okay. But it's you remember when he was walking around and it was like a skeleton? It's that, but it's like a woman and she's in stone.
Yeah.
I guess it's similar to that episode to the Man Who Has Everything. And the episode I watched was it's like Beta Ray Bill's people thought they lived in a fantasy world and stuff, and Thanos is coming to wipe them out and stuff. But then they turned it on him. Then he got under the ray and stuff. I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah.
There was a brief moment where Silver Surfer was like, "I have to fight Thanos," and then it was just, "Oh, I am hurt. I must retreat." And that's as action packed as the show really gets. It's mostly him just being like, "Oh, I'm the Silver
Tortured
Surfer.
soul.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm so tragic.
There wasn't a lot
But
of
anyway,
seasons of that.
also in the Back to the Superman thing, also my picks were All Star as well as you. Kingdom. Oh, you said Kingdom Come.
Yeah,
Kingdom
Come.
Come, but also
All
All
Star.
Star. That's an amazing story. And then the recent one, War World Saga.
Mm,
And I thought that was cool.
cool.
So yeah.
Nice.
There's a lot of good Superman stuff. I'm guessing it's because the point is a lot of people wouldn't be able to name 5. But I mean,
Right.
if you, it depends on where you restrict yourself. Because like, there's at least 5 Superman movies. You know,
Right.
like,
Man of Steel. Actually, you know what? I think the best would be Christopher Reeves. Just he did capture the perfect like Clark Kent, like Superman. Just the dichotomy between the two characters in the first Superman movie. He nailed it. Yeah. Final answer. Anyways, we should probably wrap it. I need to violently pee, and we are going to go to the Strawberry Festival today to celebrate our Memorial Day. Yes, we're going to eat all the fair food and get very chungus. It's going to be great.
that sounds good.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, I did actually forget one thing in the news. Did you hear about Taylor Swift?
Which one? With,
She's definitely in talks in Marvel to be in something.
right.
They're talking about maybe she's going to be considered to be that character Blondie something or other. I don't even know who that
Dazzler.
is.
Just have her be Dazzler.
But there was talks. See if I can find it real fast. Yeah, here it is. So they asked Ryan Reynolds because there's rumors that she's going to be Dazzler in the movie, and this is his response. You know, movies like this, there's so much speculation about so many people that might end up in the film. I saw one that was convinced that Elvis is in the movie. Anything can happen, and that's sort of what I love about this universe. Surprises are the essence of Deadpool. So we neither confirmed nor denied
That's a very
if she's
professional
going to
way
be in
to
the film.
professional way to say it.
Yeah. Do you think she'll show up in Deadpool?
You know what? Because the two of them are friends, and Disney has a lot on this movie. This movie needs to make money and set everything up. So bring in the big guns. Let Ryan Reynolds bring his friends in if that's Taylor Swift. She's the perfect Dazzler. She's perfect for Dazzler. Period. To have her like 10 seconds. Like remember when
I don't want to see her as this Blondie character though. Blonde. What is it? A blonde phantom.
Blonde Phantom.
From 1950s Las Vegas. And like, I mean, I don't know who that character is,
No.
and I know a lot of Marvel. You know?
There's a lot up there.
And I'm like, who? And it's like I see the picture. She's like, I mean, I guess it looks like her, but like, the thing is, she would be fine as like a cameo or just like, is she a good actress? Has she been in anything? Like, I don't know. I know she's a good performer.
Yeah.
I assume if people like her. I don't know anything about her.
Yeah. You know, there's
Someone told me something is going on with some rap guy recently. I had to like figure out who that was.
Oh, there's a couple things going on with rap people. There's what's going on with P. Diddy. That's what I mentioned. He fled the country because he's essentially the who is it? The Epstein of the music world. He's the guy who discovered Justin Bieber. Yeah, so he fled the country. He's hiding out in Alago, one of those island countries. He's just chilling there.
I don't know.
Yeah, and then
I don't know who he is. Like I was just like, oh okay. Like, and then there was something else, like some feud between two of them. Or
yeah.
something.
So the one who was in that one show is having a rap off with some other guy. I don't know. I don't follow that. I'll tell you what though. I've been watching because I work at a sport bar and we play the sports stuff, and because there's not a whole lot of sport ball going on right now, it's a lot of the nonsense stuff. So we've been playing a lot of wrestling, just WWE wrestling, women's, men's, whatever. God damn it, you know what? Just turning off my brain and standing there, it is goddamn entertaining. I'll tell you what, it is fun in the absence of everything else. I will happily sit and watch two humans, like, very skillfully, like, throw themselves around. It's dramatic and stupid, but it's stunt choreography, dancing. It's melody.
No, it's live. It's live stunts you're watching. So I think there was something to be admired by for sure.
Like, there's this chick yesterday that looked like Winona
But
Ryder.
it's not real.
So there was this chick that looked like Winona Ryder cosplaying as Dana Scully from the X-Files. Like, picture Winona Ryder, but with like Scully hair, but she was dressed as a girl boss. Like, that was the coolest thing. Like, she was dressed like about ready to ask a manager, like corporate girl boss. And then you had the other one who was dressed like Tim Burton's Catwoman, but in red. And, you know, I'm watching them fight, and they're flipping around, and they're doing some cool shit. And then, God, whatever happened? The one that looked like the red Catwoman just bitch slapped this corporate, just bam, out of nowhere, just bitch slapped her. I'm like, holy shit. And, you know, granted, didn't actually bitch slap her, but it was just so sudden, just like, whap. It's just, holy shit. I was immediately hooked, so I'm there watching it. It was just fun. And then there's this big, God, almost looked like a derby girl. I mean, she wasn't, I wouldn't call her necessarily young, but she just had the body of like one of those like old school like derby just brawlers. And she just beat the ever living shit. It's fun to watch in the absence of.
You know what I enjoyed was that movie. There was a movie about wrestling with the character Paige.
Yeah.
And she became the champ and all that. I thought that was a really good movie. I also liked it because her family reminds me of like my British family. Like especially my mom's side, like with the dad character, they're like, oh, you're gonna have to put on. They're like, oh, their family's a little bit posh. You're gonna have to put on a shirt when they come over for dinner. He's like, how British posh are they then? Because he has to put on a shirt. Like, he's all angry.
That's funny.
If you're British, it's like, oh my god. But anyway, okay, yeah, we'll end.
We'll end it. Anyways, for those of you who watch, thanks for watching. For those of you who will eventually tune in, how do you do? Make sure you like, comment, all that stuff. Vote for who you think won the Battle Nerds. This is a fun one today. I like this one. Tune in next week.
Yeah, it'll be up on Twitter, Facebook, and then also you can message us here, wherever.
Yeah. And thank you to all of our supporters. And we do like to end the show with a quote by Mr. Frost. Take it away, sir.
There we go. Yes. It's never as bad as it seems. You're much stronger than you think you are. Trust me.
Yeah.